to see if we can record the presentation, and then that might help us unless anybody else is recording it. So we'll see what happens. So thank you, Sheena. I'll hand over to you.
So good evening, everyone. And yes, it is fantastic that we've actually got something from all the church, so many churches. So there are quite a lot of slides. So just sit back. and what we've said is that probably better if you have questions or there's something particular you want to ask somebody, that perhaps we'll do that after the presentation as opposed to people jumping in throughout. I thought that might be easier. Okay, so that's all the things that I think we're probably familiar with, that we've all been doing in lockdown, on the phone, mobiles, slightly more old-fashioned ones, bit of exercise, bit of stress, not getting through to people on Zoom, but very much, as you'll see, we've been praying. So first of all, Beeston Hill United Free Church. Can you all, well, you can't tell me if you can because you're muted, but I'm hoping you can all see this okay. Yes, is that nods occasionally for people? Yes, brilliant, thank you. So the new minister is Reverend Pete Brazier, and he's going to have oversight of Beeston Hill and Wesley Road and another 4 churches. We've told, we don't know an awful lot about him yet, apparently, but he's going to be living in South Leeds, and they're sending a letter out to everyone connected with the church of what it's going to look like and all that the congregation can do. And this is a letter that has been sent out. I think that they're going to be probably closed until the end of September, beginning of October. And they're taking obviously guidance from the Methodist, Baptist and URC, who are saying we shouldn't rush to open for Sunday morning worship. And the charity shop, unfortunately, won't open until next year, spring at the earliest. Letter goes on. This is about the outside users or users of the building, people that use their building. The dance class, they're going to be allowed to use the premises, socially distanced. St. Luke's Carers, Church of the New Life, and as I'm sure you're familiar, the capacity for indoor worship. They say here is under government guidance is 30. I'm not sure whether they mean that's more things like funerals and weddings, but that's what they sent me this, so that's what it says. And then they say that they may start having services bi-weekly, monthly, or even bi-monthly, and they're going to operate some sort of booking system. And then they actually sent out a questionnaire to all their worshippers, which for people to respond, whether they thought they would like to attend church services at the moment, or they wouldn't, or they'd be happy to attend church under whatever circumstances are suitable for them, and that's the socially distance. Moving on to Christchurch Holton. I should say Christchurch Holton were the only church that actually encompassed everything on one slide, so thank you. It's really good. I shall leave you just to read it because it says everything they're doing on the slide. It's really, really good, I think, and very colourful. They've got Messy Church, they've got prayers for community, they've got Zoom meetings. Lots of things been going on. Pastoral care. Pastoral care, yeah. Distribution of worship sheets, and obviously we work with the Methodist Circuit and Mission Care Group. Okay. Yeah.
Can I say something there about Christchurch?
Yes.
We are opening for worship on Sunday the 13th of September.
Okay.
We sent a questionnaire out to everyone a couple of weeks ago, and we sent out 69 forms and we got back 51. and it was about 50-50 split as to whether they wanted to come back now or they were a bit reluctant. So we decided that we would start on the 13th. And all these things have been distributed by 3 people have compiled all the paperwork, and 4 if you include that we did a monthly contact magazine, and 11 people physically distributed paperwork to people who didn't have the internet or emails or anything, and the rest was emailed out to everyone, so that we actually reached everybody from our congregation, all the adherents and our members. So it's been quite good, really.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much for that. Steenbeck. Angela's already shared a little bit about Steenbeck. That's the Zoom worship, the live Zoom worship that they do every Sunday, which is probably about over 50 people attend now, I think is that about right, Angela? Yeah, about that sort of number. And they've been supporting one another through letters, cards, texts, etc., etc. And then the Interact, which is their community outreach.
May I say something?
Yes,
I shouldn't.
please do.
I'm really sorry, but you know that how Leeds is separated into different council wards.
Yeah.
Well, each council ward had a little community hub, which was then manned or womaned by somebody across their community, and Interact was asked to coordinate the Moortown Meanwood ward in the city, which was quite nice for us to be asked to do that. And so that is really how we've had our involvement in the community over this time, and it has been quite a heavy involvement, and we wouldn't, I think, been able to do it on our own, but because we are part of this ecumenical partnership, we were part of it and able to do our bit.
It's good, and good for the community to see you're involved in that. Yeah. Okay, and this is more about Interact, a 20-minute timeout. And then this is the mini Olympics, Meanwood Olympics. Families socially distanced, taking part in various things. That's obviously big. We're fortunate that was a nice weather that day, I think. So that was good. Now moving on to West Park. Jeff has been sending out a newsletter every week during lockdown to everybody in part of the congregation. And this is just well, you can see there's a little snippet there of it. I'm not sure. I don't think that's Jeff there in the water. Is that Jeff in the water? Don't think so. No. In terms of worship, they've been joining Steenbeck and also other resources, Headlands and Columbus, St Andrews, etc. And other URC online resources, of course, too. And pastoral support through phone, emails, delivering, posting newsletters, as well as the notice sheet and the weekly newsletter from the minister, which we've just seen a copy of. Yeah. In terms of going forward, opening up for Sunday worship in church, they've done the risk assessment. They had a funeral with just up to 30 people in church, with the sound relayed out to the garden. And there's plans to have the first trial service in September, and by inviting people and explaining what they've got to do in terms of when they come and where they've got to sit and what they've got to do. And then the elders are going to discuss by Zoom however they move forward to further opening up. And then there's a couple of photographs you'll see. That's the socially distanced seating. And that's the funeral. And you'll see they're all, of course, wearing masks and etc. So that's West Park. Trinity Rawdon, this is Reverend Helen Lambert has written to us, to Claire, with all that they've been doing on Facebook, putting out a service about 35 minutes long, and people can take part. They have a news slot, and they're sharing what's going on within their church community, and also they're doing a prayer walk every Sunday, which is quite big. Sounds like quite good. And they've also, she's been doing chocolate drops and coffee drops and bread drops and flour drops and every kind of drop. So that's been obviously important because they've managed to keep in touch with all their members that way. And Live at 5 on Facebook, that's for children. And then they're doing their risk assessment, and they're looking at setting up a new discipleship group. Again, that's new people that have come to them through Facebook in this and during this lockdown time, which is really positive signs, isn't it? That people that have before never engaged with perhaps worship have actually come to start worshipping, perhaps on Zoom and things. Okay. St Andrews. We started opening for private prayer Mondays mornings and Thursday evenings. Not so many people have taken this up, but even if only a few people take it up, I think it's the fact that the church is open and it's there, and we started opening up is good. It's been the first steps, and the first on the 20th of September, we're going to have the first time when people can actually go into the sanctuary for the pre-recorded Zoom service, and then looking to have a live service, an evening service in October. Again, from seeing the number of people that have watched the service, viewed the service on different, either on YouTube, Facebook, or on the Zoom, has been very encouraging, very positive. People as far as wide as Australia. I'm not sure they're going to actually start worshipping with us, but and every night since started in Holy Week, there have been evening reflections every single night at 7 p.m, which you can, anytime you can go back and watch, because they're there to, if you just go to the St Andrews web Facebook page or the website, you can look, watch and listen back any of the reflections that have been done. And again, that's been very good for people to stay in touch. And we've got Tuesday evening prayer time and Thursday mornings, which again are attended by far more people than used to come to those when it was normal. Okay. We've had 4 garden get-togethers in socially distanced groups of 6. The badminton group, they've also done had a similar get-together outside, and this afternoon, for the first time, the table tennis people had a gathering just before the rain came, I think. And people join in Zoom coffee after worship. The pastor care group, we set up this chat wheel, which means that we've sort of divided up everybody that's part of the St Andrews congregation has been, somebody will phone them at some point, or maybe might be once a week, it might be just once a month, just to make sure they're okay, keeping in touch with people. And planning to open up to the other people that rent our premises during September, and doing the risk assessments as well. Okay, so that's sitting outside. That was an evening one. And you see there's a couple of people, they're wearing the high-vis jackets, just so they were the stewards, to make sure that nobody tried to move between groups. We were very careful to see that people stay within their group that they joined and didn't move to another group. And then we set up some, invited people if they wanted to play tennis, and on Wednesday afternoons and Friday afternoons. And Tim's been joining us the last few weeks. So that's been good. And if anybody else is interested, by the way, in coming along to that, you know, please get in touch with us, because it's free, and it's in Roundhay Park, and the tennis courts there. So Church in South Leeds. The church has been joining with other churches for Sunday worship, and they've been doing their own night prayers. I know Alex told me one night, I was chatting to him, and he said, "Oh, I'll have to go soon." It was about 10:15. He said, "We've got prayers at 10." So I think every night at 10 o'clock they're doing these night prayers. They've done the risk assessment, and they're hoping to open for worship without hymns either this week or the following week, and letting other people start using the building after that. Belle building's been opened throughout lockdown for meals going out into the community, and the council have been running that. But of course, their charity shop has reopened. The volunteers were comfortable with doing that. So yeah, that's church. Wesley Road, the circuit. That's the Methodist Circuit have produced a service each week in print, and that's been emailed out to people who've got the internet and posted out to those who don't. Weekly podcast, a Zoom service, alternate Sundays, and church council on Lower Wortley Church took place 2 weeks ago, a church meeting on Zoom, and worship together as the West Leeds Community Church. That started apparently before lockdown. And they're hoping to start worship again on the 20th, every 2 weeks. And they're also hoping to have a midweek service monthly at Wesley Road and at Lower Wortley. And you will have to book your seat. That's something different for us to do before we go to church, isn't it? We actually have to make a reservation. Imagine if you said you wanted to come and you were told, "No, sorry, it's full." Sounds something you don't normally think about. They're posting out information to people that don't have the internet or don't feel comfortable with going yet. No other activities there yet. St Mary's in the Wood, Morley. This is the church, the big church with only a few people, but still very stalwart. The 5 members, they talk to each other, they listen to the literature being put out by Anne and Barry Parker. They had a leak problem with their roof, but that's been repaired, and they're hoping to go back and have a service in the church sometime in September, and they don't know yet about lettings. Heading to St Columba, that's the outside of their building. They've been pre-recording podcast services about every 3 weeks. That's Claire has been involved in doing that, and also Alex has been involved in helping with that. The other weeks in between, members have listened to the URC, the Daily Devotions podcast, and 1 week when it should have been Tim leading worship at Headlands in Columba, they came to our Zoom service, some of the members. Those people who don't have all these this technology, they can listen to the services on the radio, and Claire has been busy taking printouts and devotions and different things around to different people, to making sure that everybody's kept in the loop of what's going on. They're in the middle of completing their risk assessment, and they think they could have 20 people in the sanctuary at any one time. And they're going to have an elders meeting later in this month to see how they can go forward with prayer. And also then thinking about hires coming back later, but that probably won't be for a few months yet. This is a picture, the Lenten cross with the palm branch and the Easter cross. Wigton Moor. This is, Moira told me that a few weeks ago, an old poplar tree from a neighbour's garden fell into Wigton Moor's car park and caused some damage, but obviously that's been dealt with. And so they've had socially distanced meetings to discuss the kitchen refurbishment. They've already started the installation of a fire escape. People have been contacted by phone and email, sent out the worship literature. Some people have joined in different services on Zoom, put on out by different churches. And Tim Lowe is now the Synod Companion at Wigton Moor. And there was a getting to know you meeting at Wigton Moor with several people from the church, along with Jane Murray and myself. And they are the people that love to go to their community cafe keep on asking them, when can we get back? When can we start up again? Because it's very successful and they're really missing it apparently. And the plan is that they will open for worship this Sunday, all being well that Moira, despite her accident last week, is able to do that. And so we wish you well, Moira, and hope that you recover very quickly. Trinity United, they've joined in Zoom worship with Newborn and Roscoe Methodist churches, and Claire led a service there recently. Reverend Mark Harwood has retired and they've got a new minister starting yesterday, Reverend Edward Sackway. I'm not sure when the service of welcome is going to be. I believe it's actually tonight, but I'm not sure.
Tonight, yeah.
It is tonight. Yes, it is tonight. So yes, unfortunately, well, that will be happening now. And the church councils are looking at how they can start to reopen. And that's it. That's the last. So that's it. Thank you very much. I don't know if anybody else has got any other questions or comments they want to make about any particular church or what they've seen.
I've heard that the South Parade Church, the Baptist Church in Headingley, are opening up their cafe to anyone that's interested.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments? I thought it was very good. I mean, it's a fantastic presentation. It's fantastic to hear how everyone's getting on, isn't it? And so many churches are already planning to open up, so that's really encouraging as well.
It's not, I know you said about recording it. I can actually email that to anybody that wants a copy of it.
I can stop the recording now, actually.